Going to be a big weekend for Michigan State football recruiting. Also a big Saturday for Michigan State basketball in their game against Baylor. But first, Aidan Chiles commits to Michigan State. Let's go!
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan.
Oh, man, the music's not working. That's a bummer.
You are Locked On Spartans.
We got some serious technological issues, but that's okay. We're going to work through it because we're going live anyway. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Locked On Spartans. Who needs a theme music? Your team in green and white 5 days a week. And before going any further, download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off of your first order. Hey, use it for Saturday's game at Little Caesars Arena. Again, we're going to talk about that game here at the end of this show, but hey, we're all here to celebrate. Got something good for Michigan State football. Imagine that. That's crazy. Aidan Chiles, as you already know, former Oregon State quarterback. He makes it finally official. Like this was the worst kept secret, maybe in the transfer portal cycle for 2023. But yes, he makes it official on Thursday. Commits to Michigan State following, of course, offensive coordinator Brian Lindgren and, more importantly, head coach Jonathan Smith. Now, why are we so fired up about this? Actually, emailer David writes into lockedonspartans@gmail.com that, hey, are we right to be hyping up Aidan Chiles so much? I'm scrolling through Twitter, and there are so many national writers, Stu Mandel, Adam Rittenberg, Bruce Feldman, Pete Thamel, and others saying that this kid is a, quote, future star. I don't remember the national media hyping up a recruit like this ever before. I am both parts excited and hesitant. Maybe I've been burned too many times, but hey, you know what? No. This is worth being excited for. This kid, per 24/7 Sports, was the #1 rated quarterback transfer in the portal. And if you know anything about anything with the transfer portal, it's that there are a lot of quarterbacks, very highly rated quarterbacks in the portal. They named him the #2 overall player in this whole portal class. So yes, Michigan State getting a good one. Now, why on earth is he rated so high? He only threw 30-some passes at Oregon State. What is gotten everyone so out of control about this guy? Well, it's two things. It's what his ceiling could be as a player. When the season kicks off against Florida Atlantic next year, he's still going to be 18 years old. As a sophomore, he'll turn 19 very early into the season, but he is still, even by his just grade, a very young player. 6'3", 200 pounds as well. There's a lot to build onto the frame. And this isn't some kid that came into Oregon State as a 3-star and he had a flashy year here and there. No, he came out of high school as a top 100 recruit as well. So the ceiling has always been there for Aidan Chiles. Now, more importantly, what makes him this highly rated is what his floor already is. This is a dual threat by every sense of the word. He uses his legs for both extending plays, RPOs that were run with him at his time at Oregon State. And in this day and age in college football, we all know it by now, but yeah, it's very hard to just be a pure pocket passer in today's college football game. If you have some legs that could add some spice to that offense, whether it be for extending those plays, just like we said, if the offensive line is breaking down a little bit, or making yourself a dual threat option and just adding that weapon to the offense, that is so key in today's college football landscape. Also, he has the cannon for an arm, 60 yards through the air with ease. And last year, just like we said, he only threw 35 passes, completed 24 of those, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and with his legs was very active with 3 touchdowns as well. And it said a lot about, what Jonathan Smith expected of this kid, because last year, DJ Uiagalelei, he's the starter. He is the very experienced guy. But no matter what, for the most part last year, Aidan Chiles always got in that third series. He did get some time, no matter who the opponent was, what the situation was. So yes, he got some good, crucial early run in his career. Now, this does mean that since he played so often at Oregon State, he's not a redshirt. He's only going to have 3 years of eligibility. But really, the hope is that he won't even need all 3 of those years of eligibility because, hey, if things go according to plan, if things really worked out here for both Aidan and Michigan State, he'll be out of here in 2 years anyway. So let's hope we don't even have to worry about how much eligibility he has. So what makes this a big deal for Michigan State? First and foremost, let's just think about us for a little bit, us fans. it gives us a reason to smile, guys. And man, after the last 3 months of what we saw on the field, isn't it nice just to look at what football's doing and feel a little nice about ourselves every once in a while? But hey, beyond that, what does this mean for the program? This is a splash get for Michigan State. Look, I mean, right now in this recruiting cycle, it's all about kind of saving face, so to speak, as we lead up to early signing day. A lot of 3-stars are going to be signed here. All right, not a lot of guys that are going to, quote, move the needle with the fans or maybe even other recruits, but this kid is certainly a splash. And this is exactly what you brought Jonathan Smith here for. And what I mean by that is, no, you didn't just bring him here just to get one incoming sophomore quarterback from Oregon State. What I mean by that is that the hope is, and right now we're seeing the proof in the pudding, that quarterback recruiting will never be an issue here. As many of you know, Jonathan Smith, he played quarterback in college. He has developed quarterbacks. He kind of reinvigorated DJ Uiagalelei's career at Oregon State for a year. Right now, as we're seeing with Aidan Chiles, this is a guy that could have gone anywhere. I mean, this guy was the number 1 rated quarterback. There were plenty of suitors out there, but as most of us already know by now, it really wasn't even an option in his head. He was going to follow Jonathan Smith wherever he went because he trusts his system. He trusts his development. And this is something you could see with recruits, not just now, because look, now is a lot of fun, but also in the future as well. So what else does this mean? Look, let's not kid ourselves. It means that NIL is stabilized here at Michigan State. And there were some snafus during the season, famously, that happened as well. But right now, let's not kid ourselves. NIL probably played a factor as well. Yes, item number 1 on his list was following Jonathan Smith, following Brian Lindgren, being in the system he is familiar with, the system he committed to out of high school. But yeah, Michigan State also probably ponied up to make sure that no other schools were even an option because, yeah, there were probably a lot of teams knocking on that door. But hey, they didn't open it because, well, we have the coach. We also got the money here. So it's nice just to know that NIL, stable place, if not for one player, but based on everything I've been hearing as well from the outside, just seems a lot more organized and transparent already under Jonathan Smith in his few weeks here. And it's not just about, clout. It's not just about, hey, you know what, we're spending our money correctly in the NIL. No, it's just about, hey, this gives you a playmaker from day one. I mean, it's everything that we just talked about with his ceiling, his floor. This is what you need in today's college football landscape. And Michigan State hasn't had a true dual threat quarterback really work out since Drew Stanton. I mean, yes, Brian Lewerke showed his legs at times. I'm just reluctant to call him a true dual threat quarterback. Yes, Damian Terry came here as well. Obviously, that didn't work out, but man, this is the vision that we have right now. Now what? Like, what are the expectations right now? Are we going to go 15-0 and barnstorm our way to a national title in year 1 just because this one player committed? No, probably not. We probably should check ourselves just a little bit here, but I don't think it's out of line to say that a player like this can bump you up a win or 2 in the season. Yes, I understand it's just one player and football is all about the team, but look, this might be a layman's opinion, but the quarterback is the most important position on the field. So going into next year, you're looking at the schedule, you're looking at the home games, you're looking at these stretches of games too to start the season and then to end the season. It's not out of this world to say 6-6, 7-5. And with a guy like Aidan Chiles, hey, maybe that even bumps up to 7-5, for example, or maybe even, dare I say, 8-4. Whew! Get yourself into a Music City Bowl in year 1. But you also need to surround Aidan Chiles with some help. First and foremost, the offensive line from last year, thanks to some graduations and a lot of transfer portal entries, you have to replace 6 offensive linemen from last year. Now we have gotten some names back, guys like Ethan Boyd, Brandon Baldwin. Those are probably your 2 starting tackles. Dallas Fincher never even went into the portal. That's a guy with experience coming back. And Christian Phillips also coming back in the interior offensive line as well. But still, you need to keep building around him. Also, the weapons. What do you have as far as skill position players? The running backs really is far from the issue here. You got Jalen Berger, you got Nate Carter, but on the outside, Who on earth is this guy going to be throwing the ball to? Montori Foster mentioned on Twitter the other day that he's got one more year of eligibility. Antonio Gates Jr., he's still with the program. But again, I mean, with Gates, you're talking about a guy that had 5 catches last year. Could you get Jerron Glover back? Maybe. Could you get Tyrell Henry back? Perhaps. Malik Carr? I think that there's a better chance of me or you starting at tight end than Malik Carr ever coming back here, but that's just my personal opinion. Look, and Nick Marsh, the top 100 recruit, I think he's legit. I think he's going to be a really special player here, but no matter how special you are in the star rankings or how great you look at your high school tape, it's always just hard to make that much of an impact as a true freshman right off the bat. Could it be Jack Velling, the tight end over at Oregon State, who visited Michigan State last week and that had a nation-high 8 touchdown catches for tight ends? Things might be looking good in that department as well, but still, you need to surround him with weapons. And also, the quarterback room. And yes, I know that we just talked glowingly about Aidan Chiles and how much of an impact this is for the last 10 minutes, but you do need some backups, guys. Like, let's say that, I mean, crazy enough, I know a lot of Michigan State fans have a hard time believing this, especially with what we saw the last few years, but you can get hurt playing the game of football. You can miss some games. So when that happens, well, who is your backup quarterback? Well, right now, as we're talking on December 14th, that answers no one. There's no one else in the quarterback room right now in East Lansing. So you're going to have some high school recruits come in this weekend. Odds are you're going to take 2 of them just because, again, you do need to fill that quarterback room. Could it be a guy that is a backup elsewhere and then doesn't mind ending his career as a backup, which is a lot easier said to find than to actually do? But hey, I mean, Hawaii's backup quarterback last year, Joey Yellen, he's in the portal. UMass's quarterback last year, Carlos Davis, he's in the portal. So it's just guys like that, like guys that have 1 year of eligibility left and don't mind hanging out on the sidelines and getting some sweet NIL or some sweet MSU team issued gear for the last year. So that's where we're at with all of that. But yes, we are going to keep talking about all the transfers, all the recruits visiting campus this weekend. But first, gang, just need to talk your ear off about game time. Let's see if this graphic works. It does, unlike the theme song I tried to play earlier. But hey, who cares about that? We're here to talk about Game Time, the best ticketing app out there. Folks, I'll be there this Saturday, Little Caesars Arena. And if you catch me walking into the stadium, you might notice I'm on my phone. All right, that's not just me popping a few tweets off. No, that's me going on Game Time and searching for their last-minute ticket deals, their flash ticket deals, because that is what makes Game Time so great. Up until kickoff or tip-off or the first song of whatever concert you're going to, they have the best last-minute deals for any event that you are looking to get at. And buying the tickets is so simple. Just a few taps. The tickets are sent straight to your phone. You're not rummaging through your email, wondering, oh my God, when are the tickets going to get to me? I have no service. I'm freaking out. I'm never going to get into this game. No, they're just zapped to your phone immediately when you buy them. Again, guys, they make it so easy. You almost quite literally won't believe it the first time you buy tickets off Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege. That is all one word, LOCKEDONCollege, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. All right, let's talk some recruiting weekend, because just like last weekend, a lot of official visitors, we're going to have even more this upcoming weekend as we are roaring towards early signing day. Now, we're going to go down the list here, name a bunch of kids that we're going to make some sense of this as well. But before we go any further, all this information courtesy of Spartans Illustrated. They have the official visit tracker going on, so go subscribe to the fine folks at Spartans Illustrated right there. We got 2 guys that are already Michigan State commits, 4-star cornerback Jalen Thompson, 3-star quarterback Keyshawn Williams. Hey, that's great. That's fun. I hope they enjoy their weekend, but that's not really what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the flips, the guys that were committed to Oregon State that could be trending to Michigan State here. And then where are they going to stack up in this class nationally and amongst the Big Ten as well, should Michigan State get this influx of high school talent here? So right off the bat, 3-star athlete defensive back Andrew Brinson. All right, he's a former Oregon State commit. No other visits scheduled. We got 4-star offensive lineman Rustin Yun out of the great state of Hawaii, former Oregon State commit. No other visits planned. We have 3-star defensive end Kike Burnett. Hey, he's a former Oregon State commit from the great state of Hawaii. He also has no other visits planned. We have 3-star offensive lineman Peyton Stewart. Oh, and we're going to mix it up here. He's a former Oregon State commit. He has no other visits planned. And hey, let's do it one more time. 3-star offensive lineman Rakeem Johnson. You guessed it, folks. Former Oregon State commit. He has no other visits planned right now. So for those keeping track at home, that is 5 former Oregon State commits that are visiting this weekend that have not visited anywhere last weekend or will not until early signing day. Now, those aren't the only 5 guys. We also got 3 more high school athletes visiting East Lansing. 3-star quarterback. All right, here we go. If you've watched this show, you know how me and difficult names to pronounce go. Alessio Milivucevic. All right, there we go. Alessio Milivucevic. He's a 3-star quarterback currently committed to Ball State, but that could change here if this visit goes well. We also have 2-star wide receiver Austin Clay, and then another quarterback, Daniel Kalen, who is committed to Nebraska right now. But if you're into recruiting, you've already caught this, that 5-star quarterback Dylan Raiola. The smoke seems to be blowing to Nebraska for getting his commit for the next cycle. So, that means 3-star Daniel Kalen might not be a priority for Nebraska. This staff jumped on him right now and got that official visit locked in. So again, with the empty quarterback room, this could very well be a situation where they're going to take both Milivucevic and Kalen in the same class, because you can't just have 2 scholarship quarterbacks on your team. That's not going to ever work in Division I football. So that is where we are at right now. So that is 8 high school kids confirmed visiting per Spartans Illustrated this week. So let's say that all 8 of those kids, they commit to the 2024 Michigan State class. All right, if you punch those 8 kids in, that's going to put Michigan State in the top 50 nationally for signing day. And before you roll your eyes and say, oh, great, top 50, woohoo, thanks for that one. We'll explain more of this later. Also, if you add Brady Pretzlaff, the linebacker from Gaylord, Michigan, who was committed to Minnesota, just decommitted not too long ago. Gee, wonder where he's going to go. It'll be Michigan State. If you had him and then Brandon Toulis as well, Brandon Toulis, former Oregon State commit, he's a running back. You add those 2 kids in, it puts you at 42nd in the nation and number 12 in the Big Ten overall. I get it, guys. Being number 12 in the Big Ten out of the 18 teams, and yes, we're factoring in Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA in that. I know when I say number 12, like that's nothing to pop champagne over. But look, at this point, it's all about saving face for this 2024 class. When we all woke up on this beautiful, splendid Thursday morning, Michigan State was 17th out of 18 teams in the Big Ten, beating only Northwestern. All right, they were in the 80s or 90s, depending on what recruiting site you're looking at for team class. At this point, it's just about getting kids into your class, because a lot of these rankings are predicated on how many kids are even in your class. Like, yeah, star ranking matters. Let's not get it twisted. But Michigan State couldn't get to early signing day and just be signing a class of, 10 kids? So we're scrambling, right? But it's not the scrambling where you're just throwing out offers to anyone and everyone, being like, oh, please, Mr. Mac offer. Please, Mr. SWAC commit. Please come to us. No, for a good chunk of these kids, like the 5 Oregon State decommits, these are kids that this staff has already identified into fitting their system. Will all of them work out? Are these all going to be home runs? No. Just math tells you that the answer is no. But again, at least these are kids that you're filling the class with, people that you know fit your program, guys familiar with your coaches and vice versa, coaches familiar with the players. So it's a mad scramble, but it's an organized mad scramble, and it is all about saving face here for the 2024 class, and that is what Jonathan Smith and the staff are doing quite well with this list of visitors. Again, just assuming all these guys commit, because I think that's more likely than not, but we got a lot of game left. Now, those aren't the only visitors this weekend. We do have a host of transfers as well from other colleges that we'll just go through really quick here. Purdue transfer wide receiver Abdur Rahman Yassin, and also Purdue wide receiver TJ Sheffield. They were the 2 and 3 receivers for the Boilermakers this year. Yassin is from Southfield, actually, so this would be a hometown kid. 6'2", 200 pounds, and then Sheffield, 5'11", 190 pounds. Also, Kendi Charles, 6', 280-pound defensive tackle from Liberty. Middle Tennessee State defensive end Richard Kinley. Tulsa defensive tackle Everett Rogers. Arizona State offensive lineman Isaiah Glass. And then this is a big one too. Wisconsin linebacker Jacob Turner from Farmington, Michigan, originally former starter for the Badgers. So yes, he is on the portal, and I have heard that there is mutual interest already between Rossi, of course, the defensive coordinator Michigan State just hired, and Turner as well. So things could already be looking good there. And there is an unofficial visit as well. I don't know how this works out, how you sneak in an unofficial visit with all the official visits going on, but that's beside the point. This is a guy we talked about a few weeks ago. Holy Cross transfer offensive lineman Luke Newman. He was an FCS All-American at Holy Cross, and not just that, but also, once again, a Michigan native as well. So, hey, we just talked about how we're kind of maybe slightly concerned about the offensive line class. Well, I mean, hey, adding a former FCS All-American is nothing I would ever say no to. So there it is for football. All right, we're going to switch things up, go to the basketball court here in a hot second, but first you need to talk your ear off about Prize Picks, the leader in daily fantasy sports. Gang, it is so easy to play Prize Picks that you can just make your selections in about 47 seconds. Just plop yourself on the couch, open up your app, add some NBA players, NFL players, NHL players. You can even mix and match sports. They're going to give you the list of projected stats, and you just got to guess, are they going to go more than that stat or less than that stat? String enough players together and you can multiply your money times 25. Also, Prize Picks offers a reboot policy so that your entry stays in play even if one of your players get injured. For football and basketball games, if you have a player who exits the game in the first half and does not return in the second, that player is rebooted. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. So start winning right off the bat when you go to prizepicks.com/lockedoncollege and use code lockedoncollege for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's prizepicks.com/lockedoncollege and use code lockedoncollege for a first deposit match up to $100. It's Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy. All right, let's do it. Let's talk about this basketball game that I'm already going to start losing sleep over because this is a big one. Let's not get it twisted here. We are running out of chances to get some good marquee wins, specifically in the non-conference. We're going to talk about what this could mean for Michigan State's tournament standing, which is a conversation I don't love having on December 14th, but here we are. Anyway, it is Baylor, good old undefeated 9-0 Baylor, and I am just absolutely frightened to see these guys walk into Little Caesars Arena. But let's start with the good news here. Let's try to make ourselves somewhat remotely happy about this game coming up. Right off the top, BartTorvik.com. That is the website we reference all the time here on this show, the very analytical, computer-based stat platform. You see 9-0 Baylor, one of the best, if not the best, shooting teams in the country, visiting a Michigan State team that is not that great right now. You would think that the spread has got to be at least 6 points, right? Maybe even 8 points. The computers tell you that Michigan State is only 1.7 point underdogs per the computer. So again, it's not like the greatest news. We're still underdogs, but hey, at this point of the season, we'll get anything we can smile about. Also, yes, Baylor is 9-0, but let's add some context to that. They're not beating the Milwaukee Bucks or the Miami Heat by any stretch of the imagination. They've played two teams that are ranked inside the top 90 per Bart Torvik. It's Florida, who they beat by 4 on a neutral court, and then Auburn, who they beat by 6 on a neutral court as well. And also, they are 68th in defensive efficiency. And yes, look, that is good, but we're just trying to point out any silver lining here. That is actually behind Duke, Arizona, and Wisconsin as well. And those are teams that Michigan State hunt around with a little bit here. Look, I'm trying to find any sliver of hope here. Now let's just get to the bad news. Let's just keep piling on of what makes Baylor such a good team. They are the best three-point shooting team in the country. As a team, they are shooting 46.5%, which, oh my God. Now that's not going to sustain itself the entire season, right? I find it very hard to believe a team will end north of 46% shooting from three-point land. So maybe you start seeing the regression starting Saturday. Maybe they're due for a game where they go like 4 of 27. All right, I'd be thrilled for that. But hey, as things stand right now, God, they are shooting the piss out of the ball. Number 3, an effective field goal percentage as well. And then also, well, it's not just shooting they do well. They also do rebounding quite well to the tune of having the 6th best offensive rebounding team in the country. And when has Michigan State ever had a problem with other teams being really good at offensive rebounding so far this year? Oh, gee, I can't think of a game. 2 games ago against Wisconsin. Anyway, they have 4 guys that are shooting over 40% from 3 right now, and 2 of them are transfers. Imagine that. Ray J. Davis, the Toledo transfer, and then Jalen Bridges as well. That's actually someone Michigan State dabbled in trying to get to East Lansing here for a hot second before he committed to Baylor. But yes, this is going to be a very, very tough game. So what can Michigan State do? What do they need to do? You need to play more Xavier Booker. And no, this isn't just me just going, hey, play the 5-star, like just for no reason whatsoever. When I say play Xavier Booker, this is a game that is not going to be won from the inside for Michigan State. Not like they can win games from the inside anyway, as things stand right now, but you need Xavier Booker, even though he's shooting just 20% of the season, you need him out there to stretch the floor. All right, floor spacing is going to be paramount in this game. Now, let's say Xavier Booker's not on the court, right? You guys just need to play with pace. And I know that's something that we're all banging our heads against a wall over right now, as Michigan State is well outside of the top 300 in adjusted tempo so far this year. But so far, Michigan State has proven that they cannot win with the three-point ball. Like they are not dialing up three-point shots in the half-court sets at a blistering pace. No. They need to get out and running with their athletes, play some small ball, have Malik Hall be your post presence, who, by the way, is shooting at the rim at 72% this year. Not too shabby. And I know it sounds crazy that Malik Hall has to essentially be your 5, be your only post presence. Who else on the team is going to be that when you need to throw the ball inside? So, yeah, it's going to be a tough one, but hey, you know what? They need this one, because what does this game mean for Michigan State? It's last call. It is last call for a good non-conference win. And I get that, Indiana State, they're pretty good. Hey, look at Oakland. Ooh, they're doing some good things over there with Rocket Watts, but those aren't going to be quad 1 wins. This is one of your last chances for a really solid quad 1 win, which, by the way, in quad 1 games, you are 0 for right now. You have not won. And, well, you have 6 left after this game. Now, that's subject to change. The quad system fluctuates depending on how good and how bad teams are. Like when we talked to Carter Elliott a few days ago, I said that there are 7 quad 1 games left on your schedule. Well, when Northwestern loses as 24-point favorites to Chicago State, well, that game's now classified as quad 2. So right now, as things stand, moving forward, you have 6 quad 1 games left. All right? You're going to be favored in just one of them. The computers tell you. Again, things can change, but right now you're favored in just one of them. Illinois, when they visit you later in February. This is really important to win, guys, because you need to start getting on the right side of the bubble here. And look, even if you just lose this game, whatever, Big Ten play is still going on. But there is a Big Ten paradox going on. The Big Ten sucks this year. They stink out loud this year, which is great. Hey, that's cool. All right. Hey, Michigan State, not too good either. We could win some games. That's cool. Okay, down year for the Big Ten. All right, perfect. We're going to pounce. We're going to put our way to the top here. Here's the other thing, though. The Big Ten sucks, which is also not great, because you need good quality wins, because you have struck out on your first 6 chances to get good wins here. And, well, you don't have a lot of opportunities in Big Ten play. Right now, Joe Lunardi has the Big Ten as a 6-bid league. I have not looked it up, but I can't imagine it has been that low in years, if not decades, for the Big Ten. So yes, this could be a very, very short party of teams getting out of the Big Ten. So you just need to beat Baylor. I beg you. Now, let's talk about what this means for tournament standing. Again, a completely ridiculous conversation to have on December 14th. But when you have the season you've been having so far, well, you got to have the conversation right now. I was really hoping before the season that we could talk about tournament standings with the Baylor game, as in like, can we stay on the 1 line? Can we stay on the 2 line? But folks, we're just trying to get on the bubble here. All right. Anyway, on barttorvik.com, you can plug in games that you are projected to win as a win, and then games you are expected to lose. I plug those in as a loss. If you go down the list right here, and let's say you do lose this Saturday, you win all the games you're supposed to, lose all the games you're supposed to, Bart Torvik, the computers, tells you that you are a 10 seed right now. But if you win this Saturday, and then again, followed up with winning the games you're expected to, losing the games you're expected to, that puts Michigan State on the 7 seed line. Now, that's up to you if you want to celebrate that. If you've already resigned yourself to just being happy with making the tournament right now, sure, take some solace in that. That a win this Saturday can put Michigan State somewhat barely comfortably inside the bubble for another week, you know? But if you don't even want to hear any of this, then I guess this conversation is just not for you. But yes, for those panickers of, hey, is this an NIT team or is this a tournament team? The Saturday's game actually holds a lot of water here. Doesn't make me happy to admit that, but that's just the fact of the matter. Let's just all go back to the first segment, when we were talking about Aidan Chiles here, because that was a lot of fun. All right, guys, truly, really do appreciate all of you. What a way to start the weekend here. This has been a lot of fun. So, hey, take care of yourself this weekend. Hey, if you're going to be at the game Saturday, Little Caesars Arena, if you see me walking around with a Miller Lite in my hand, because I will need one. Say what's up. Let's try to make Saturday somewhat joyous here. So here we go, gang. All right. We did it. Aidan Chiles, Michigan State. God, we're smiling about football. Smiling about football. Now let's smile about this weekend. Love every single one of you. We will be back because, hey, that's what we do. Lock on Spartans 5 days a week. Love you all. Go Green.